Hi there, Malcolm here with my 415th Booktube video, and today I'll be bringing you a book review for The Stainless Steel Rat Goes to Hell by Harry Harrison. Published in 1997, this is one of the later books published, and chronologically I think it's the third last one. Now for the most part, the Stainless Steel Rat series is a fantastic science fiction caper adventure following career criminal slippery Jim DeGriz, the Stainless Steel Rat, who at some point during his illustrious career gets conscripted into the Special Corps, a secret service made up of the galaxy's worst or best criminals, depending which way you want to look at it, who are very much taken on the adage of setting a thief to catch a thief. And generally each book follows one adventure as a new villain pops up and Jim DeGriz is sent by the Special Corps to go and deal with whatever that is. And during the course of his adventures he meets the lovely and dangerous Angelina, who he marries, and they have two children, James and Bolivar, who have grown up by this point. In this one, Angelina gets involved in a weird cult and disappears, leaving Jim and their sons to find out where she went and bring her back. And as the title suggests, he finds himself very soon in a place full of fire and brimstone and little red people with horns and tails. Although not everything is as it appears to be. This was a reread for me, and I must confess I have no recollection of my first reading of this. There was actually nothing in here I remembered. I know I read it because I got it in my read list. That must have meant it was really boring, but no, I really enjoyed this. I found it witty, I found it clever. It's able to take some absurd things and make sense out of them. My favourite passage being, "Then here we go," I shouted, throwing open the garage door to hell and pointing my salami. "Attack!" Of course, out of context, that's complete nonsense, but I assure you that everything in there makes perfect sense within the context of what it was written. A light-hearted, swashbuckling fun. I think my only complaint with this one is that it had a very similar formula to The Stainless Steel Rat Saves the World, where in that one he's battling against a time-travelling foe throughout Earth's history and future. And in this one, the villain is a dimension-travelling foe. And obviously there are differences in both the characters and the medium in which he's chasing them, but I couldn't help but notice a similarity and would say that Stainless Steel Rat Saves the World is the better of the two. But in the end it was a very satisfying read, worth buying, and as a series I do highly recommend it. Unfortunately with Harry Harrison, getting a hold of any of the copies of his books is generally quite hard. I recommend online thrift stores such as World of Books, particularly if you're in the UK. I would say start either with The Stainless Steel Rat, the first book written in the series, where he's an already established criminal who is then conscripted into the Special Corps, or A Stainless Steel Rat is Born, which chronologically is the first book in the series, written as the first of three prequels, and is very much his origin story. And I would also ignore anything that says bags of good humour, uproariously funny, and anything that gives you the impression that these are comedic books. They're not written as laugh out loud, guffawing every single page stories. They are satirical, there are some fun and silly moments, and you will find yourself chortling occasionally, but these are not comedic books. And most complaints I see about this series are people saying, this isn't as funny as I was led to believe. They were never supposed to be. The humour is always oversold on these, I'm afraid. Have you read The Stainless Steel Rat Goes to Hell, or any of the Stainless Steel Rat series, which is your favourite one if you have one? The Stainless Steel Rat Saves the World is possibly my favourite, very closely followed by The Stainless Steel Rat Wants You. Comment down below please, but as usual, if you have nothing nice to say then please keep it to yourself. Thank you. Don't forget to like, subscribe and other GP things if you want. And until next time, see you later.